A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism one letter at a time.
Welcome back to A's for Alcoholic. We're here again to discuss our alcoholism, both in the real world and in the not so real world as it seems these days.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of strange stuff going on. There's always I wonder if there's always been strange stuff going on. We just have more information coming at us all the time.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that's it. So it's like making us feel more intense. You know what, man? I will be fucking super stoked if I wake up tomorrow and I'm 11 and they had just pulled all my teeth out. And that this was all just a wild ass dream.
and then you just wear dentures from 11 on.
Right. No, because when I was a
the
kid,
baby
I
teeth.
had like really crowded teeth, so they had to pull a bunch of them to make room for
Jesus.
the braces.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
they would put me under, and I'd have these wild fucking dreams every time they put me under, because they have to put me all the way out. And like I dreamt once I was in the Jeffersons, and I was a Jefferson. It was like I fucking loved it. Like I fucking loved it. But yeah, I'm just hoping I wake up tomorrow and I'm 11, and it's 1987, 86, and my mom's like, "Wake up, mijo, they pulled your teeth out."
And you get to have a fucking push up and a popsicle and a
Yeah.
yeah.
And look at them both and be like, y'all should quit drinking.
Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna invent the iPad.
We're gonna talk today about the letter is B, and so we're gonna talk about the movie Be Cool, which I think was
I don't know.
the sequel to Get Shorty with John Travolta.
I was waiting for that joke to land. I didn't know. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't have much of a joke other than that movie was terrible.
And tomorrow, what is it? Next week it's C for Cool Runnings, which is a
Cool
dope.
Runnings.
I love that movie, dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was John Candy in that? Was he the?
I think he was. Yeah, I gotta look for my phone now, but I'm pretty sure he was.
I don't know. No. B today is going to be for be calm, and I think that I really would love to be able to give you listeners some actionable items, things to do, and things that have worked for me. And I feel like I've been neglectful on my calmness. I mean, when I say that, like the thing that pops in my head in all this anxiety-ridden world we live in is like, I used to have a really strong meditation practice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first started it, I did it like, I got like 45 days in a row and I was stoked. I was like, that's fucking a month and a half. And then I just quit. I don't remember why I quit.
You're like, that's it. I'm all meditated up now. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
My card's been punched for the month.
Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that to me, that kind of, that's not just the only thing, but that always seems like, oh, if I meditate, I'll be calm. At least in those moments, I'll be calm. And I just haven't done it. I've been meaning to do it. And whatever the issue is, I think I'm probably spending far too much time scrolling through whatever, pick the app of the day and feeling anxious and frustrated. And like, if I'm not a part of this solution to the world's woes, then I'm part of the problem. And it's like, well, you are allowed to still live your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you are allowed to still be a part of your own life and do the things that you love. And, you know, we can still be conscious and we can still be active in helping the world be a better place, but it doesn't help if you're fucking miserable and anxious and frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talked about like, how do I present my art or my performance or stuff like that online without feeling insensitive to all of the stuff that's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's really hard because you're right. Like I was thinking about like, what comedy skits could I do or something's, and it's like, that doesn't seem interesting or fun. Right. But also anything that in trying to make our own lives better, right? Not just all of the stuff that's going on in the world. It has to be something that we will do consistently, and it has to be something that It has to be something that I'll do sustainably. So like I can't just go, oh, I'm gonna meditate for fucking 5 hours today and then I'll be good for the rest of the month.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? You
Hmm.
can't run a marathon and then you're good for the year.
Yeah.
That's not how
I
it
mean, I
works,
am, but yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
It
don't need to
doesn't
run any more
work that way.
marathons after that. But
No.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah. I know exactly the point you're. I'm just adding a little bit of levity.
So yeah, I mean, we have to add levity to this all, or otherwise it would be fucking gloomy and
Fuck, I
sad.
know. Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to work on myself every single day. I was thinking, so I just had a therapy session before this, and one of the things I was telling her was, sometimes I just don't feel like fucking working on myself, man. Sometimes I'm just
Yeah.
like, fuck this. I don't want to do this. And like, or I'll say to myself, well, when is the payoff going to come? Right. And I think that maybe, and in those moments, I'm usually exhausted or tired and I just need to rest. We go back to halt. I'm usually just tired and don't want to do all the chores and tasks that I've put into my routines.
Hmm.
But the payoff comes from doing it every single day. And I know that probably sounds a little trite or a little glib or a little too simple, but like the payoff is doing the thing, right?
Right.
What if,
Yeah.
if you were just like, oh, well, I'm gonna lift weights until I got big muscles and then I'm gonna quit. Like,
Right. Oh, okay. Right. Now, this is the thing about that. I'm glad you brought that up because that makes it a little clearer to me because I would get into these conversations with a friend of mine, with an acquaintance, and he would always say, I hate working out because I'm always working out for other people and you have to do it all the time and you never get to stop. Like if you want to look good for other people, you never get to stop.
mm-hmm,
And it always blew me away that that was the thought process in that, because it was always like, it's not the end result. It shouldn't be your achievement. The end result should be that discipline you have every day of making yourself feel better. Like you feel better after you do it. Like you're a little tired or whatever, but then you feel better, you feel stronger, you feel like you can do things more, you feel healthier. Like to me, working out was always first initially was about losing the weight, which is I guess a really great metaphor for alcoholism, right? Because the initial part of doing this quote unquote work on yourself is to lose weight, get rid of the problem of alcoholism, and then from there you just maintain because you feel better. So it should be the factor that you should be working on is what makes you feel better. This is what you were doing before that made you feel better, and it just made you feel horrible near the end of it. And now this is what you do now. That's the actual thing that you should be doing to make you feel better. I've
mm-hmm,
always had an issue, and not like an angry issue or a disagreement. I've just always had an issue with the idea of doing self work because it was always very abstract to me. Even going into the program and working the steps to me was always incredibly unclear to me. They said, you'll feel better if you work the steps. And then I would work with another alcoholic and be like, how do I work these steps? And then they would tell me the same thing that I'd already hear. And it was just, sometimes I guess I just needed like a drawing or something, like something really tangible. Cause to me, it always felt like the 12 steps, they worked if you knew how to work them. And I just never could figure out how to work them. So even up to this point, I'm just kind of working it. I'm doing what I figured out worked for me. And I may not be doing it the way it should be done. So doing self work is a weird thing. It's so abstract to me. It's intangible. What is self work? Well, try not to repeat the same shit you did before that fucks you up, right? I mean, I don't know, man.
don't repeat the same shit that fucks you up.
But it is
Stop
always
doing
in my nature to repeat that shit though. You know what I'm saying?
that.
Not the drinking, but the reacting instead of listening. You know, I always had a hard time with that. And I'm getting better at it. It's a long process. It's like lifting weights. It's like you and your slumper challenge. You don't just do 100 push-ups and all of a sudden you're fucking yoked and you Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Like you gotta do more than the 100 push-ups at one point. This is like your gateway into it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you do see results if you repeat those actions over and over and over again. Eventually you'll be like, oh, there's a little line right there where there was no line before, you know, like, whoa, there's a little bump now, you know, where there wasn't a bump.
I actually have a bicep that I can see.
Right, like you showed me before we started the pod, and I was like, dude, your arms are bigger than mine, and I lift weights like 3 times a
I
fucking.
know. I know. So a couple of things here.
Yes.
Finding things that are tangible. They have to be small because, and I don't speak for everybody, but I think most of us alcoholics kind of overthink things and overblow things, and we make things. I think, at least I do. I will make something so big in my mind that I will give up before I even start
Yeah.
because it's easier,
Oh my
right? So
God, that's like my MO, dude. Yeah.
right? So let's
Yeah.
whether it's working the steps, whether it's fucking the yard work that I have to do,
Yeah.
whether it's, paying off a bill, whether it is anything, whatever it is, right? Whether it's running a mile or running 13 miles,
Yeah.
whether it's doing 100 push-ups a day for the entire month of July, which I'll talk to you about here in a second, but it's making it bigger than it is so that I can give myself an excuse to give up. So if I make it as vague as possible, if I make it the self-work, like what the fuck is that? Then well, what the fuck is that? I don't have an answer, so I'm not going to
Right.
even try.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think, like, when you were talking before about it and about self-work and it being vague, is I don't remember every single moment of change and growth. There are a few where the epiphanies were so big that I was like, "Oh man,
Right.
that's it," right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the slow educational process of recovery is 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 more apparent in my life than it is these big shocking epiphanies. And so I have to really, and it's very easy to get comfortable in the moment of what we're doing and how we are. And for me to look at myself and I go like, oh man, I still got this belly fat I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
And to look at pictures of myself from a year or two ago, even a year ago,
Yeah.
like I've come a huge way. So um I think that it's important to look at your progress, and I think it's important for me to look at my progress, and I think it's important for me to find something smaller and not listen to those voices that want to make it too hard.
Yeah.
Voices that want to make it too big, those voices that want to make it too complex. I need to simplify it because that's just the way my brain works. And so something as simple as, like, I've got this fucking nectarine tree outside, and the deers have pulled one of the things down, one of the branches down, and it's hanging super low, but the fruit's not ripe yet. And I'm like, they fucked it all up. And so I'm trying to get the ladder out, and I've got this twine, and I'm like, but the ladder's not tall enough, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the twine, and I was just like, oh, this is just too goddamn much. There's no solution. They're just gonna rip it down. And I was like, well, wait, don't they usually like pick fruit unripe and then let it ripen off the tree? So
Yeah.
couldn't I just pick this fruit now and get it off and away from the deer? As much as I love the deer, I don't want to feed them like that.
Yeah. You don't
And
want them to
so
eat
it's
all
just,
your tangerines. Yeah.
that's a much easier solution than when I was up on the I'm up on this ladder trying to twine this slumped over fucking branch to another branch above it that I can't reach. And I'm like, and I'm
Yeah.
wearing flip-flops and I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Why are you on a ladder in flip-flops? I just already picture you out there in like a fucking 5-panel baseball cap with Velcro on the back, wearing a Frankie Says Relax t-shirt and
Yep.
flip-flops, like on a ladder, like cursing yourself, being like these fucking deer. But also it's you, so you're like, I mean, I love the environment and I love animals, but these fucking deer though, like, first of all, put some fucking sneakers on, dude.
Relax, don't
right.
do it. Oh man,
Relax,
put
don't
that on
do
my
it.
running mix.
That's a good fucking running song, yeah. But you know what I imagine is you're in your kitchen, drinking a cup of coffee, looked out the window, saw the branch, and went, "Fuck, I need to take care of that right now," and just walked out in your flip flops. And
I did. I
know,
grabbed the ladder from the laundry room and the twine from the junk drawer, and I was like, I got to go out there right now and take care of this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe you goddamn deer. And
So
so
will they go ripe in the basket then? They will, right?
They have to. I mean,
Right.
I pulled one off and I bit it, and it was still hard, and it was really heart.
Is this
So I
a
didn't.
tangerine, like an orange, like a citrus
A
fruit? Is that what
nectarine, it's a
nectarine?
stone fruit.
Like a
Nectarine.
peach. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, stone fruit. That's a better way than yeah, it's not a peach, it's a nectarine, Wagner. Yeah. Yeah, my dad sells produce for a living too. I should know this shit, man.
So I think that finding the simpler solution, and also just fucking start. That's the problem too that I find.
That's the bitch.
I mean,
It's
we
starting
should
it.
just
No,
end it right there.
absolutely.
Just fucking start.
Yeah, that's just fucking start. All right, cool. Good. Late. I'm gonna go monitor my breathing now and be freaked out. But yeah, but it is. You just got to start it, and that's what it is. And so with me, with my issues being entangled, and that was just starting any semblance of any type of work, you know. But I just didn't know where to start. That was always like, okay, I have this shovel. Where do I need to start digging to build whatever it is, this pool I'm putting in? Like, do I do the shallow end first, the deep end? Like, it was always very unclear to me. I also found that meditation helped in incremental ways. There was no giant revelation like when I quit drinking or that night I decided, fuck, I'm done drinking. Like, that almost seems like a misleading sometimes, is that first moment of clarity you have when you realize this is it. You know what I mean? Because you have the big wow. For me personally, it was a big wow moment where I was like, I'm fucking done, you know? And like after that, there were little tiny wow moments, but none as big as that first one where I was like, this is no longer feasible. Like you change. So after that, I would little changes. So I meditated for about 2 months, like every day for 15 minutes. I'd listen to this Alan Watts one over and over again, or this other one, because I like Alan Watts's voice. And I noticed at work, I did feel calmer, but by incremental measures. I would still get pissed off during the day. Someone would still make me react because it's super easy. But I would feel like in the moments leading up to that, I'd feel much more at ease with myself, but not in a major way where I was like, oh, this is incredibly noticeable. Just in minor ways where I was like, I don't feel fucking mad right now. That's weird. Usually I'm mad to be here, you know? And I haven't meditated in a while. It's all the different routines I have during the day. I just haven't found a place to sit yet and just be calm and quiet. Even during a quarantine, which is what I should probably just start doing, you know?
Well, let us not forget that, you know, we're in this quarantine, and there's a lot of, regardless of how you feel about quarantine and coronavirus, like there's a lot of confusion.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a fairly universal fact for everybody, regardless of if you're like, well, it ain't no thing, or I'm terrified as hell.
Right, and the country's open. I just personally am in quarantine. I'm in lockdown. I'm not sick or anything. I'm just locking down because I am not. I don't want to get sick, so I'm chilling. I just want to clarify that. I am not in a state that is in lockdown. Like, we are open, full balls to the wall, pretty much. Most balls. How about one ball? One ball against the wall.
One ball to the
but
wall.
That's besides the point, I guess. I just wanted to clarify, but that doesn't really help out with the be calm aspect of this.
I think that you're trying your best. I mean, it's not just you. I mean, I was having this conversation too about, like, well, it's not just my health that I'm concerned about. It's my girlfriend as well. And I want to, if I'm going to hang out with anybody, it's going to be her. And so you've got a family to concern about, because, you know, you don't want to get anyone else ill. You don't want to be and certainly not your family, let alone anybody else, if you can help it.
Right.
And so I think that's part of just trying to find your way to a certain sense of calm and doing things. Like, it doesn't, I think too, with recovery, there's this constant, you know, notion of we do a step, and then we do the next step, and we do the next step. And these things are important. It's important to make progress, and it's important to go forward. It is okay. Now, don't bullshit yourself, but it is okay to sit and rest for a moment. It is okay to say, I'm just going to go do something that makes me feel good and is not necessarily on that list of tasks that I need to complete to be a fully functioning, healed human being. I'm going to go out, just sit in the sun. Again, I highly suggest that you don't bullshit yourself into complacency, but you can find moments of contentment. You can find moments of calm that don't have to be attached to a program.
Recovery or self-improvement. I think they're vital actually to recovery. I think in a way it is about recovery, being able to know that like I am a human being that exists outside of my addiction or outside of my alcoholism. Do you know what I mean? Because there was a point in time where that was my first defining thing was like I'm an alcoholic. It's just how I define myself. And now I'm beyond that. I'm like, that's just an aspect of who I am, you know, like, hey, by the way, like I never walked up to someone and said, hi, I'm Jerry, I'm allergic to penicillin. Do you know what I mean? Like in the opening of my conversations, you know? And so when I first got for not fucking my life up anymore, that I would tell everybody all the time. But now as time passes, I'm like, well, this is my aspect of my personality. Not only am I allergic to penicillin, if I drink, I can't stop drinking until my body says no more, just go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it is those moments, those breaks are vital. I think they're just as vital. And also my end goal at the end of the day, I think as for me personally in my recovery has always been that I always wanted to hit a point where like I did not define myself by my addiction to alcohol. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't my only defining characteristic, that I am a multifaceted person. I mean, it's still part of me. It's still in me. There's nothing I can do to avoid that. And I don't plan on drinking again. You know what I'm saying? That I'm like, this isn't part of my personality, so it's time to fucking Corona Lime it, you know, or whatever the fuck people drink now. Seltzer? I don't know. Anyway.
Bud Light Seltzer.
Have you
Malone.
seen that shit with Post Malone? And like, I just had to skip the commercial on YouTube because he just looks like a dirty homeless dude who's like, which is fine if you're a dirty homeless dude and that's your vibe, like hell yeah. But I just was like, yo, this is your spokesman? Like this dude looks like a hangover. Like this dude looks like a hangover. Like you're supposed to be lying to me, telling me that booze is gonna improve my life, not make me look like a fart in a couch cushion, you know? Like, yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I digress.
I agree. Man.
I'm fucking 44 years old. I don't know nothing about Post Malone other than he looks like a fart in a couch cushion.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Maybe he's a very nice man. I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine.
I don't even know. I couldn't name one song.
Sunflower maybe, but that's
Sunflower.
only because I know a Vampire Weekend song by the same name. So, you know.
Got it.
I don't know. This is for young people. I'm not a young person.
Speaking of no, I guess not speaking of calm, but
speaking of TikTok, no.
You want to talk about
young
TikTok?
people? No, not really.
No, not really. Let's move on. So we just both recently had birthdays.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Oh shit! Happy anniversary, man!
Happy anniversary!
Word.
6 years, Jerry. 6 years you got.
5 years for you, dude. You and I, 56, dude.
56.
Yeah.
How do you feel after 6 years?
I'm worried about everything.
Yeah.
Except for that one thing. You know what I mean? Everything else worries me. But I made my own cake. I didn't get a chip. I'm glad you got a chip. Your chip is fucking hilarious.
So I'll tell you that story.
Mary Kay fucking Avon chip. I love it. No, I mean, I thought about ordering myself a chip on Amazon, but I was like, it doesn't hit the same. You know, I'm just going to wait till one day when we get our shit together. I'm going to go back to the meeting and probably pick up a 6 and a 7 chip at the same time, you know, because it's going to be a while. I feel good. I feel other than being worried about everything, I feel good.
So you made yourself a cake and you drilled another hole. Will you tell me why or what the little hole drilling bit?
Well, I keep a 24-hour chip on my keychain, and I just have drilled a hole for every year since the first year. I don't know why. I think I read it. I read it maybe in a grapevine or maybe saw someone at the meeting who had one. I just thought that shit looks cool as fuck. I'm gonna do that, and then I've just done it now because I love having routines. I do. I'm a big fan of fucking schedules and shit. So I'm like, here's my routine. It used to be I would shave all my facial hair off, but I just didn't. I just kept shaving since the last time. So now we're going backwards. I'm gonna grow the beard back.
All right.
Yeah.
I now that we're putting this stuff on YouTube, I didn't realize, and I haven't combed my hair today, and it's just my fucking everything is wild.
Oh, is this on YouTube right now?
It will be, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It will be.
I keep forgetting that how many have you had? The last one was on YouTube
Just
too?
one. One.
I gotta watch them now. That's funny. I didn't realize they were on. What up, YouTube? What up, our 2 followers? Like, subscribe, hit that bell below. You know what I'm saying?
Smash that bell.
Visit our Patreon. We ain't got shit, but we got kindness in our hearts though. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
our
that's good.
intentions are good.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so here's the story of the Mary Kay chip. For those of you can go check out my Instagram post about it. But so I got up one morning or a couple days ago, maybe I guess it was the 4th of July, and or no, was it the 4th? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the 4th of July. I got up and I texted the guy who runs like the chip thing. He's the one who gives out all the chips in my home group. And I didn't hear anything from him. And I was like, whatever, man, like no big deal. I'm not sweating it or anything, but I'm just going to go for a run. So I go for a run, and one of my runs is to, like, if I have cash tips, I'll put them in the bank. So it kind of gives me like a mission. So I feel like I got to run to the bank. So I have no problem social distancing because I'm not wearing a shirt and I'm covered in sweat and I've got a mask on. So people
get near you. Yeah, it's actually a really good technique.
I promise, when I can smell myself, I promise you nobody's getting near me.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and I do that, and I'm like, which way should I go? And serendipity, coincidence. I really feel like there was something bigger here. We call it a God shot, right? So I was like, I'll just go around this way afterwards. And who do I see pulling into the gas station right in front of me, except for the dude who I just texted, who doesn't, or who takes care of the chips. So I go up to him and I talk to him, and he's an old biker dude, and he's got his Harley Davidson bandana around his face, you know. And, perfect. So we talk, and he's like, "Oh man, I got a new phone. That's why I didn't get your message." And I was like, why? And so he started to tell me the story about something about a monk or a Buddhist monk that he had met, or a friend had met, or had met together. And there was something about the monk was saying, be careful what you invite into your life, because what you invite into your life will come. And then he said to me after we were done, he's like, thank you for inviting me into your life today, John. He didn't have the chip on him, but he said, meet me tomorrow. So we met the next day, which was super awesome. I was like, holy shit, this was meant to be. So the next day, and he's telling me that the chip, and my whole thing has always been, I'll just take whatever somebody else has turned in. I'll just take the chip that comes my way. That was intended for me, right? So it's somebody who had the 5 years before me, and that chip has done them well. So why wouldn't it do me well? And I give mine back. So I don't keep them all, and I give it back, and then my mojo can go on to somebody else. Yeah. And so the next day we meet with masks in the drugstore parking lot. We pull up, and he pulls out of a little baggie, it was kind of like a drug deal, because they come in little baggies. And he's telling me that the woman, and I know the woman who had the chip before me, and I'm like, oh, cool, man, right on. And so he pulls this thing out, and there it is. It's purple, bedazzled.
Dude, it's got jewels and shit. It's beautiful.
So normally I would not be a purple bedazzled kind of guy, but apparently this year is the year of purple and bedazzled. And so it was just funny and there was a part of me that was like, can I get a normal gold? And I was like, John, what are you concerned about? What is your problem? And just for a moment I was like, oh, I just want my regular, but I was like, this has gone through somebody else's hands and through somebody else's life and brought them, and I don't know fully what the huge, these things have meaning because you give them meaning, right? They don't have. Yeah. So I think to me, it just is a good reminder. And I guess that what I need to do, and, if I'm feeling like, oh, I did 5 fucking years, like that's a long time.
That is a long ass time, dude.
So
it's a long ass time. That's half a decade, son.
So that's a trip to me. So I got this coin, and I guess you can put what's called a bezel on it, which sort of wraps around and will actually make it so it can fit on a keychain. Yeah. So I'm going to take it to the local jeweler, and hang on. Remind me to turn my phone off during our recording sessions next time.
That's cool.
So anyhow, I'm going to get it put on my keychain. So
are you not giving that one back out to the group then next year? You're just going to keep the Mary Kay?
No, I'll give it back.
It'll just have the bezel on it with the little...
The bezel. Yeah, I guess it's Bezel. Bezel?
Yeah, it's bezel. Yeah, like a watch. Yeah.
So I think...
Jeff Bezos. Boo.
I think that the
Welcome.
coin brings me some calm and some serenity, and I like having it on my keychain now.
So do
I mean,
I.
you carry yours with you, right?
That 24 hours, it's on my key. I don't have my keys on me now because they jingle really loud on the pod. But yeah, I carry it all the time. I like having it there. It reminds me of what this whole fucking thing is. 5 years ain't shit. It's 20. It's just the day. It's just
Right?
the day. Yeah, I have to be reminded of that sometimes. Not that I get cocky where I'm like, "Yo, Jack, you know who you're talking to? I got 5 years sober in this room. Like I don't even talk in the room. Do you know what I'm saying?" But
Mm.
like, I, all of us have a day. That's all we got. That's all you got is 24 hours. It really fucking fucked me up to go into the rooms and realize that. Like all I really have is this one day to do anything, really. I mean, they all accumulate and you build work up over those 24 hours and build things during the time you have allotted. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do I do things within this time span while I'm awake? You know, like what do I do?
Mhm.
So that's why I like to carry it around. That's why I like the 24-hour one. The 5 one though, that shit is gorgeous. You should absolutely carry that around. I think you
Yeah.
should wear it like a necklace, like just
I
a
could.
nice
Should I get a chain for
chain.
it?
Yeah, chain. Just rock it. Be running with that big heavy thing hitting
Just
you.
beat.
Uh-huh. I keep all my
Oh, sure.
chips, but I'm also not as involved in my group as you are. Like you're pretty involved. Like people know your name and shit.
More so, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I don't know that that's necessarily important. I think you should be as involved as you want to. I think if
Absolutely, yeah. I just say I'm not involved enough to like be like, here's my chip, like
Right.
throw it back in the thing. So I have them all. I
right,
think I'm missing one. I'm missing like a 5-month chip or something, and
Mm.
that's it.
you don't go to the birthday meeting.
I think I lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I
I was
think-
playing with them. I don't know.
So one thing too that I have what do I want to say? How do I want to say this? So I think that sometimes what happens is you should only be involved as much as you want to be involved, right? Except I have found that in those moments where I feel like, ugh, I don't want to do that, or I'm thinking about it too much, or something's kind of in my craw about recovery or AA, or I feel like I should be doing something, but I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
It usually means that I need to go and do that thing.
Oh
right?
yeah.
It means that like
You're right.
something's bothering me and I need to confront it. And I don't want to confront it, and that's why it's bothering me. And so it's
Right.
this cycle of, this like whatever the thing is, the pebble in my shoe, right?
Yeah.
I think Muhammad Ali said something like that it's not the mountain in front of you that'll get to you, it's the pebble in your shoe that'll
Right.
ruin.
Damn.
And so like we keep looking at the mountain like it's too much, and it's like we got to get the pebbles out of our shoes before we can even begin to climb the mountain,
Right.
or else
That's
it's
just
gonna fuck you up.
I love it's the Spanish word for it is hueva. And you've
Hueva?
heard me say it. You've known me for years. Yeah, hueva. Like tengo un hueva. Like I have a hueva. I'll say it to my wife all the time. Like I have a hueva. Like it's the pebble of my shoe. It's like I don't want to do this.
Mhm.
I wish there was a word for it in English because it's a great way to express like I don't want to do this shit. Like
Mhm.
like even with these podcasts, there's some days where I don't want to fucking do them, and I'm like, tengo hueva. I don't want to do a podcast and talk about my stupid alcoholism. I just want to play video games and eat chips all day. And then I do the podcast, and afterwards I feel fucking great. I'm walking around singing Shadows of the Night, being great, like feeling good about life, So the hueva is always there, and the hueva is the pebble. It's like a weight, like something you carry around, like that is just this thing that you just need to cast it off and deal with the shit,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think this is those are good reminders that we do these things on a regular basis that give us good positive reinforcement, so that
Right.
when those negative thoughts come in, we can go, nah, yeah, that I think I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because it makes me feel good. And my brain is so, when I used to go to like going to meetings, there would always be this like, well, I don't know if I have enough time, and then I got to
Same
put
here.
some shoes on, and
Same
then I
here.
got to drive down there, right?
Yeah.
So like so I start to do the shit fuck stack of all the things it's going to do to take me to get down there, which
Yeah.
is not that much. Putting shoes on and taking a 10-minute drive is nothing.
No.
And then I go and I feel so much better, and I'm like, oh my God, the rest of my day. wow, perspective, gratitude, fellowship, whatever it is, right? So,
Right.
and you can find those things elsewhere. It doesn't have to be in this particular program. You know, you can find it with friends. You can find it with, other people, their mentors, teachers, that kind of stuff.
Right. It doesn't have to be just the program. Exactly. You can find it with other people. And I
Mhm.
think more so in this society now that we've become more open about our substance abuse problems, our addictions, our alcoholism and stuff, that it is easier now to be able to find someone who can relate and you can work with. Because when Bill and Dr. Bob got together and they're like, let's start this thing up. Back then you didn't there wasn't even a fucking word for it, right? They were just like
Mhm.
alcohol. I don't know if they coined the term alcoholism. I imagine it was around before that, but do you know what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
was just something that you just, yeah, of course you're an alcoholic. Everybody here is an alcoholic. The whole society is all alcoholics, like, and then well, I'm going to get into the history of it, but the
I
society got
think
more
that
polite, people
right.
less talked about it less. It was a sign of weakness. And then now it's like, who the fuck doesn't talk about their problems? I love this younger generation. I love these younger people
Mhm.
because they're so fucking open about shit. I love it. I'm a talker. That's why I have a podcast with you because I can't
Mhm.
not do anything without talking about it constantly. So when I see younger people online being like, I prefer to be referred to this way, or this is my gender pronoun. They'll have it in their bio or shit. I think that's
Mhm.
cool. Like you're talking about who you are and what you are and how you prefer to be addressed or how you prefer to look at the world. Even if it runs, not in that case, but in other cases, even if I don't agree with it, I still applaud it. I'm still like, good
Mhm.
for you for being open. And now more so with people with their addictions and stuff. Like you never really saw shit like that on the news, people talking about that. And now it's like, I mean, you know,
It's great to
it
be
is
able to
great.
to know that you're not alone, because
It's
that's the
just
thing that really that's the thing that for me was so instrumental in the self-destruction of my alcoholism. Was I am alone. I am the only one who feels this. And I was so convinced of it. I've
right.
told the story about going to that first AA meeting when I was
Yeah.
completely fucking drunk at 8 o'clock in the morning from the night before, and still not. I mean, obviously I was so drunk, but
Yeah.
I wasn't able to see that other people, that I wasn't the only one. It's like, you wouldn't understand. There's so much contempt in our hearts as alcoholics when we're
Yeah,
drinking.
absolutely there is. Yeah, that's what fuels us. I'm just glad to know nowadays that even though it has helped me immensely and I support it 100%, AA isn't the only game in town anymore. Because
Hmm.
it's not one size fits all. People would like to believe it
Hmm.
is, but it's not. Nothing is that absolute. Like nothing in
Hmm.
life is a binary. Nothing. So why would your approach to recovery be a binary? So that's why I'm glad people are being so open about it, is that they can figure out new ways. And then I can go to their things and be like, that's a pretty good. I'm gonna steal that and use that on my own. And you're absolutely right about the that thing that us alcoholics hold when we're drinking. What was the word you used? I lost it.
I said we hold a lot
Contempt.
of contempt in
Contempt.
our hearts for
Yes. Just
everything,
why the fuck do I want to go sit in a church basement with old people and cry about being drunk? I'm not powerless. I'm absolutely not powerless. I have a fifth of whiskey in my bag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
yes, dude, you're not powerless, but you're carrying a fifth of whiskey in your bag and just kind of sipping out of it. Like there's something's got power here. And that's,
Right. Uh,
like, yeah.
I think too, and I wanted to talk to you about this, the slumper thing.
Yeah, let's
And you
talk
speak
about
about being
slumber.
powerless and
I
these
ain't
negative
doing it, but
thoughts.
yeah.
I know, I know. I tagged you in it. It's not too late. You just got to catch up. But
Oh,
pro-
jeez.
um, so being contemptuous, there's a lot of negative thoughts that come with that, and I continually, still to this day, have negative thoughts that pop up in my head. I'm getting better at not listening to them or going, oh, okay, yeah. Or one thing that, like, my therapist told me was, ask the negative thought if it has any proof of what it's saying.
Right.
And so, and I was like, oh yeah, that's good. If there's no proof, then what's the fucking, who is he babbling about? I mean,
Right.
it's just, at that point, it's just a conspiracy theory that I don't need to give any credence to,
Dude, I
that I'm
love
no good.
this. I'm stealing this from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So
Man, I should have taken advantage of that better help shit. Anyway, go ahead.
So it's like, that's it. The negative thinking is just a conspiracy theorist that has no proof of anything and wants to tangle it all up and red string me left and right.
Right.
And so when our friend of the pod, Mishka Shubali, put on his social media that he was going to do a slumper, like he kind of let his fitness go, and he's like, I'm going to do 100 miles in the month of July, and we're going to do 3,000 push-ups. Who's with me? Hashtag slumper, because it's like a summer slump, because he hadn't been working out or anything like that.
Mhm.
And my first thought was, oh, that's cool, but I could never do 100 push-ups a day.
Right.
I was like, and then I thought, well, why not? Why do you think that? Who told you that? You're the only one who's telling you that.
Right.
Like, maybe just figure out how to do 100 push-ups a day. Can you do 10? Can you do 5? Like, figure it the fuck out. And I saw other people online who were doing this, and somebody had taken a whole sheet of paper and drawn like little dashes, and then every time they would do 10 push-ups, they would just put a check on top of one of the dashes. So they're like, here's my push-ups for the day or the month or whatever. And so it's like you just keep doing it until all the boxes are filled, and then you're done. And so the first time I was like, well, I'm going to have to modify this. And I think the first day, this is only a week into this, was I did push-ups on the fucking hood of my car because I didn't feel like I could do them straight on the ground.
Yeah.
So I did like 60 of those, and then I think I added sit-ups the first couple of days into that 100.
I saw that. And I
was like, whatever, I'll just figure it out. And then as I went along, and this has only been in the last few days, I was like, oh, okay, well, can I do 20? So I did 20, and then I was like, then the big epiphany was a few days ago. If I wake up in the morning and I do them first thing, before coffee, before anything else, if I'm not even like awake, if my brain's not working, then I don't have anyone to listen to complain.
You're
there's
doing
no
all 100, or you're just doing 20 5 times a day?
Right. So I do 20, and now I'm up to 30. I can do 30 first thing in the morning.
Oh, okay.
And the form is not great, but
right.
it's all right. I'm getting them done.
Yeah.
So it's progressed pretty quickly into doing 30 push-ups first thing in the morning, which I would never have thought that was possible.
No, it wakes you up though, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. It's not pretty, man. Fitness is not always pretty.
No, none of it is. Hey, remember when I was telling you I started working out and the dude had a poster behind him and it said something like, if you look cute, you're not doing it right, or something. And we both laughed our asses off. It was like Hasfit, the Hasfit guy on YouTube. But you're right. It's not pretty. It's a fucking mess.
So, but I feel so much better. Like, I've already done my 100 for today. I still got to do my sit-ups and do my squats and go for a run and all this other shit. I'm supposed to hang out with the lady, and the other boys want to Zoom from Vegas and otherwhere.
Oh, yeah, the Zoom boys. Yeah.
The Zoom
boys. Well, I did 40 today, and I want to explain why I said I wasn't going to do it. Is that it fucks up my schedule I already have, because 2 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week, I'll do my 5 miles, and then those other extra days are dedicated to lifting weights already. So I wouldn't want to do a running day and then do my 100 push-ups, and then the next day have to do the extra 60 on top of the 40 I've already done. Do you know what I mean? It fucks up my schedule. I'm a schedule guy. If I didn't have like a schedule, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Also, if I didn't feel like I'm like might be dying right now.
Sure.
Like, this is my excuse. I know it sounds so hollow when I can see your face and I'm not just texting it to you. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, and I can see my own face telling this bullshit lie to you. I'm like, yeah. But it's not really a bullshit lie, though, because I do have my schedule. Like, I have my routine, and I'm like, man, these extra push-ups going to fuck my routine up.
Routine's important.
So then I got to run 5 additional miles on top of, like, already working out for an hour for the day. I'm like, oh, man, I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, you'd only have to run 3 miles a day instead if you did 3 every day, and then you could. But the thing is, like, routine. And routine is something that brings you calm. And I know this.
Absolutely.
And I was talking to my therapist about this, and we were discussing some other things I need to write about, that writing would be helpful in me in another one of those tangible recovery self-work things, in writing out about my dad or writing out about other stuff. And I said to her, Well, I do the 3 pages in the morning, and I kind of feel like if I go outside of that, or if I do more, or if I'll ruin my morning, I'll ruin
Right.
everything, you know. Or
Right.
if I don't do that same thing every single day, I'm going to ruin it. And she said, well, that's fine, you know, you don't need to change that. But you may want to think about incorporating it in other parts of your day if you don't want to ruin that. And so, like, we didn't always have the routines that we have today. We
No.
had to develop them. We had to, and again, this is not directed directly at you, Jerry, but
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm just saying that we develop these routines and they feel good. And then so there's that comfort zone, and it's like, well, should I try something new? And then if I try something new, and then it ruins everything, and then I'm gonna be a failure, and I'm gonna be dead, and I'm gonna be drunk. And so don't go changing to try and please me.
Oh no, I know. And how many times have I disagreed with something you've wanted to do? I do it all the time. It's in my nature to be an objective, not objective. That's the wrong word. It's in my nature to like disagree. I just contrary. I'm very contrary. I've been that way my entire life. I question everything. Why? Why are we doing this? Why the fuck am I doing this? But with this thing, though, it really is sincere that I have my routine in place and I really enjoy my routine. I'm seeing benefits from the routine I'm doing right now, so I don't want to upset it. And I do love how you talk about that spiral in your head. Well, if I don't do the routine, this and this and this and this,
Yeah,
happens.
it's real.
It is real because I all the time my wife's like, I was telling her yesterday, my chest is really bothering me and I'm worried that I might be getting sick with this fucking coronavirus. And she's like, you're fine, Jerry. And I'm like, well, I got really hot running my 5 miles. And she's like, why did you run 5 miles? And I'm like, because I run 5 miles now. That's my new thing. And she's like, no, but why didn't you just run 3 and come home and rest? And I'm like, because I have to run 5. And she's like, who's telling you you have to do that? And I'm like, I am. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because if I don't run the 5 miles, I'm going to gain all this weight back. I'm going to turn into a fat piece of shit. I'm going to die of a heart attack taking a dump or doing something equally stupid. And she's like, no, you're not, dude. Like, stop with the spiral, you know? And that's exactly what you talk about. When I early on in my recovery, I was like, if I don't do these things, I'm gonna fucking die of alcoholism. Like I'm just gonna fucking die of it if I just let one thing slip. If I'm not constantly diligent about what I'm doing every single day, and I just let one little pin go unchecked, that's it. I'm just gonna fucking die in a bar, you know? Yeah, man.
So is there any evidence of that in reality? That if you let one thing slip, you're gonna die in a bar? I mean, have you let things slip before and been
No.
okay?
No,
You
oh
don't
no.
let
As
things
far as
slip.
my alcoholism, no, I don't drink. Yeah, but
Right.
no. As far, yeah, I've let things slip in regards to working my program. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely. My program's not even fully worked. You know what I mean? As far as like the steps go and the logical way of taking these steps. Yeah, and I'm not dead in a bar yet. Not that I know of.
No.
Although, you know, flash forward, I'm like trying to stop a robbery in a bar. I'm just walking by and I see it. I mean, that would be ironic. Just you paint a big mural of me or something. Yeah.
I think that
Jerry was trying to save the White
I was
Claws.
trying
And
to
I'm
say,
like,
no. I think that without the reason that we have been successful at recovery is that we have been flexible, we have been willing to change, we have been open to new ideas and new ways of living. I mean, I that's just a fact.
yeah.
So and again, I'm not, man, I don't want you to change your routine. I just wanted to try something different, so I tried something different. And I'm not
Oh, I
like,
know. And you invited me along, and I was just like, fuck no. Because that's just how I am in general.
I did.
Like,
That's what I expected. I didn't
yeah,
expect you to
exactly.
be like, let's do this, dude. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. And you know, I thought it was, I think it's great you're doing it. I'm like really fucking proud of you. And I can't wait till all this shit is done with because I want to hang out and go for a run and see our pace and how we run.
Yeah.
And, you know, like that'd be, I actually think that's really fucking weird that it would be fun. There is part of my brain that's like, that's so weird that this dude that you used to fucking go eat raw oysters and drink fucking shitty whiskey with, you know what I mean? Like now I'm like, let's go on a little 5K. Let's go on a little 5K.
Dude, let's do a 10K in the fucking woods
10K.
somewhere.
10K in the woods. You know, we'll take a lot of walking breaks. We'll talk. We'll fucking cry a little. Be all right, buddy. You know,
It's fine.
Yeah.
Get your camel back. You'll be fine. Put
I've
some
never
fucking
done
trail
I've
mix.
never I've never done that kind of run before. I'm like a track runner, but I would love to run a trail. I was watching a guy run trails on YouTube the other day. He was like a British guy and he was running this whole abandoned train line, like running along the tracks and over the bridges and stuff. And like it wasn't even and it was like 40K or something. It wasn't even a consistent run. Like he'd walk a lot, didn't
Yeah.
run. He had a shovel. He was using a shovel for a walking stick. But he'd stop and eat some gorp or whatever, then keep running and shit. And I was like, that looks so interesting to me. These guys who do this trail running, like you do trail running,
I love it, man.
and I've never done it. I've never done it. And then this core hit, and like everybody's on the trails, so I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking be in these crowded Oregon trails right now, you know.
They're not
Bad
as
word.
crowded as you think, especially
Mhm.
now that things are opening up. Like
Mhm.
you can go because the one that's by my house, which is where I see a lot of the pictures, um, is really close, and it's not that trafficked.
Yeah.
Like I'll see a lot of cars. Most of these cars are not running up and down the hills that I'm running. Most of these people are at the park benches or at the picnic benches,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the great thing. Like I don't know, probably Skinner's Butte, or there's probably lots of
There's
popular
Skinner's
ones. And
Butte, probably Hendricks Park, yeah. And Skinner's I've done. I haven't run it. I've walked it because Skinner's is really vertical.
But
It's a fucking trek, but it's nice. It's beautiful.
when I think about these things, and the trail running is more for me, we talk about being calm and finding peace, is like being out there by myself with the
Mm-hmm.
trees and the birds and sometimes the deer or whatever it is if I see them. Like there's some serious like healing properties to being out there. And
Yeah.
it's not just about I've kind of when I go out there, my pace is terrible. It's like 18 minutes a mile. I
Right.
might as well be walking the entire time because a lot of it is uphill and downhill and
Yeah.
the down, all this stuff. But it's a different kind of workout, and it's a different kind of exercise, and there's a lot of uh, mental health that comes with it. So
Right. So you're not
I
even listening to music then. You're just listening to nature and just kind of jogging.
sometimes
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll put the headphones in when I want to like push myself,
Yeah.
but a lot of times I'll have them and I'll pull them out and I'll just want to be out there. And so I think that it's really, I just don't want, I was there where you were at, where you're like, I got to run 5 miles because that's what I do. And if I don't do that, I'm going to be a fat piece of shit and I'm going to,
Yeah.
start and all this stuff. And then I started to slowly, and then I would not do that, or I would do something different and I would be miserable and I would feel like I'm going to die and I'm going to be a fat
Right.
piece of shit.
Like you're doing it
And then I
wrong. You're
wasn't.
gonna
I'm
relapse.
doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm doing it wrong. It doesn't feel right. Man, I'm not
Mhm.
losing the weight that I used to. All these things. And then I started doing the trails and it was like, this is so beautiful out here, man. Like this is better than hitting the pavement and getting the 5 miles in.
Maybe that's why
This
you're
is better.
burning like 10,000 calories per run because you're walking on these trails that are up and down. Because I'll get a little thing and it'll be like, tell your friend John, congratulations for burning 50,000 calories on like a 2 mile run. And I'm like, are you on the fucking moon? Like, what are you doing?
But
But
it's not
maybe
that
it
much.
is.
But
It's not
yeah,
that.
I
It's not
don't know.
50,000, but it's
It's like 1,500, right?
yeah.
I don't know if
But
that's
maybe
real
you
or
are
not.
burning more because you're
Maybe.
bigger than me and you're exerting yourself a little more because you're going. I'm on a track. I'm on a track listening to earbuds. I'm listening to my running mix on Spotify, and I'm just like being propelled forward. Whereas like you're going up and down hills and down trails, you're using parts of your legs that I don't use because you have to
Right.
steady yourself on trails that are uneven. You're using all these muscles that I'm not using
Mm-hmm.
as much, you know. Whereas like, you know what? I'm glad you brought up the running because we haven't really talked about it in a long time. We haven't. I don't feel like we haven't. But that I think is more my meditation than anything else. Even when I don't want to do it, and I do find myself thinking like thoughts will invade me while I'm running, and I have to sometimes try to just let them like I'm meditating. I just let them. I acknowledge them and let them pass. I'm like, oh, look, a thought, and then I let it go. And yeah, man, there are moments where I'm running, I'm listening to my earbuds and like a good song comes on and I just feel like I'm just stabbing in the direction I'm going. I'm just part of this. I feel like in touch. Like I'm just part of everything and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is moving forward. You know, just constantly being propelled forward. I love that feeling. It's one of my so my wife's like, why do you run 5 miles? That's also part of it too. Because I'm like the alcoholic in me loves feeling really good afterwards. And loves being in tune with shit. Like the drunk in me that wants to feel super good loves that feeling. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, don't don't take that away from yourself.
No, hell no.
I would only say that there are other ways to find that feeling
Yes,
in
there are.
other ways of running.
Yes.
Like there's other,
I
and
would
I would,
love to do those other ways of running. I just, once again, I just have to go do them. Well, like you said, get the pebble out, get the web out, just go fucking do it. Just go do it.
yeah, just go do it. So I would love to invite you down here when we can figure out like when, well, I don't know, when vaccines or
What's this
whatever happens,
ronavirus?
whenever
Ronavirus.
whenever we wake up from the dentist's office and this is all a bad dream, or
We're both
maybe
12. I'll just like I'll call you long distance from California and be like, hey, don't start drinking. Meet me.
somebody shakes the etch a sketch on this on the simulation, we can get back to normal or
Right.
something.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I just cast it out. Ronavirus out. Get out.
Mhm.
Crack an
You
egg
come
on
down to the redwoods, or I'll go up to, we can go
it.
somewhere out in Oregon.
Redwoods, nice. There are definitely beautiful trails here. I just haven't. I have not done any research. Like I just run my track by my house, and it's a nice Rexius trail. I mean, it goes along all Amazon, the road down there, so it's a pretty run, and you get kind of up in the woods a tiny bit. But, man, I don't know, man. I might go hike that butte. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow.
And you'd be surprised. You switch up whatever your Fitbit or whatever you're using to track calories, and you say instead of run, you say hike. And for whatever reason, like on mine, the hike I always burn more calories when I'm out there. And I don't know if that's.
So you have a Fitbit now?
No, but I use whatever's on my phone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But it's a different kind of thing. And so I don't feel like I've neglected myself by not running when I go for a hike. Like it's a whole different world.
Well, it's all about just expending that amount of energy you need to expend during the day. There's just a certain amount of energy everybody should be expending during the day in order to stay healthy, you know?
Yeah, it's
I tell
true.
make it all the time. I'm like, it's not even about weight sometimes. It's just about keeping my resting heart rate at a certain thing. Like I just want to keep my resting heart rate at that good, healthy level that makes me feel better, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think we all are, figuring out our own ways to find calm and find peace and find contentment and comfort. And like, it doesn't come easy, and it's going to be different. And like, try something. And if it doesn't work, try something else. And if that doesn't work, you try something else. And it's just
Keep trying until it works.
This trial and error that, we as alcoholics have spent so many years being self-destructive and hating ourselves.
Yeah, dude.
It's going to be difficult to get back on, another track. So
absolutely.
I will say that nature has definitely been something for me that's been instrumental. And yeah, I need to plan another like trek out to the coast or to the redwoods or something like that. So
get out while you can, John.
Yeah.
Get out while you can.
It
does sound so ominous.
But I think everything's going to be okay. Like if I didn't believe everything was going to be okay, if I didn't have faith that everything was going to be okay, I wouldn't have made it this far, right? I would have been like,
dead in
it's
a bar.
Not dead in a bar. And I certainly, I don't want to do that.
No.
So congratulations on 6 years, Jerry.
Congratulations on 5 years, Johnny. Every year we're going to do this until we're just two 70-year-old dudes podcasting.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know either. I got a message from somebody, one of our Patreon patrons, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are back. 2 weeks seemed too long in this time of quarantine." And so I guess we'll just, if you guys keep listening, we'll keep talking.
Right. Y'all gotta stop writing him that shit, because he's just gonna keep making me do these forever.
Forever.
No, keep writing him. Encourage you. I enjoy it forever. Be like, yo, John, I can't podcast. I'm going to my daughter's wedding.
By that point, we'll be able to just do everything remotely.
That's what I'm thinking. Just tap the little earbud.
Bing, bing. Right on. Is there anything else? You have any other parting words?
No. I'm good. I'm on Twitter again. Follow me at We Came to Fight, all one word. I'm not doing anything important on Twitter, but if you want to follow me, that's fine. I'm doing nothing important. I'm just writing funny things. while I have my morning coffee and look at the morning COVID numbers for Oregon.
Wasn't there something about the beekeeper?
Yeah,
Johnson?
it's my new children's show, dude. Beekeeper Jones, dude. Beekeeper Johnson. Look for it on Quibi.
On Quibi, yes.
Don't be on Quibi, dude. Beekeeper Johnson. It's just a lot of bees flying out of my mouth.
Be careful. They might pick you up.
Pick me up. I'll take that.
Syndication on Quibi. Quibi money.
Take that Quibi fatty out.
Cool. All right, Jerry. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That was a good talk.
Good talk.
Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at aisforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.